Hi, this is Dr. Julie Gilbert on this gorgeous day. I'm with Rachel Matthews. Hi, Rachel. How are you?
I'm doing great. It is a gorgeous day. We always report on the weather, but it does impact our well-being.
It
So
really
we're loving it. It's a beautiful day.
so beautiful, so beautiful. Rachel, I'm doing a new routine that my son put together. He recently graduated from college. Okay, by the way, apologies to everybody out there for last week. It
You were
was
traveling.
yeah, I was traveling, I was trying, but we're going through mountains in Montana, and apparently, every cell tower doesn't get to your, to your for your phone or whatever in the mountain. But anyway, we tried, but here we are back again. And what I was saying is the reason we went to Montana was to see my son graduate, and we're already getting a return on our investment there
Yes.
because he has his degree is in kinesiology, and he
Mhm.
wants to do physical therapy. And so he put together. I told him I need stronger hamstrings and adductors in my leg. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. And so he put together a program for me. I tried it the first time this morning. It was so beautiful. I did it outside in the grass with
Yes.
my bare feet.
You were grounding, you were working out, you were getting the sun exposure and the light in the morning, you were getting fresh air, you're working your body. My gosh, you like ticked off how many? Nice. That's amazing.
I'm doing this. You know that or that video that went viral, but with the 3-year-old in front of the mirror going, "I like my mom. I like my sister. I like." Remember that one?
Yes.
I like my hair. I like my pajamas.
Yeah. She was just like positivity all over the
Yeah.
place. A very high positive IQ for that one. That's
Yes.
a thing I've been researching lately. There's the emotional IQ, we have our
Mm.
intellectual IQ, we have
Mhm.
our emotional IQ, and did I say that already? Emotional, mental, whatever. But we have a positive IQ, a PQ, and
A
there's a
PQ.
PQ, and your PQ score indicates your ability to have self command over the inner voices, over the saboteur, over,
Oh,
yeah.
right. Yeah.
So it's pretty fascinating. But she's doing PQ reps there,
Mm.
repetitions, like to
Yeah.
strengthen the positivity muscle that we have, right? We have
That's
these
so, yeah, that's
emotional
awesome.
muscles. Yeah.
This should be a topic for another day, Rachel,
Mhm.
because I'm wondering why in the heck we even have a saboteur. I mean,
Oh,
maybe it serves a purpose, and you can enlighten us on that.
yes, it
But
does. The good news is it does, which
okay,
when we accept that and acknowledge it, it makes it so much easier to understand what's really going on. But it
okay.
would be a great conversation.
I need to hear about this. I need to hear
Yes.
about this. Yeah. So let's make a point to talk about that. Yeah. But today we're going to repeat, yeah, the chapter that we tried to do last week and then
Yeah.
got disrupted so many times. So
Yeah.
because it's such a great chapter and so important, I'm closing the door so we don't hear the barking dogs. But it's chapter 6, I believe, right, Rachel?
Yes.
And his first point
Yeah, it's
is
chapter 6 is lifestyle choices that count. So he's talking about specific behaviors and actions. And the first one is wear a new pair of jeans, and it's spelled with a G, not a J.
right. Yeah, so his points about that is that yes, there we have genes.
Mhm.
Um, some of our of our DNA, makes the traits written in stone.
Yeah.
Like how if your earlobe is attached, how it's attached. That's not going to change. Your eye color generally does not change. Hair color changes. I mean, women change their, yeah, we change anyway. But no, the natural hair color, may change a little bit. But so there's a few things that don't change. But the exciting part of his message
Mhm.
was that uh, it's not the whole story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, right. What we've learned from all of this genetic research and mapping the human, genome and all of this is that some are set in stone and some are modifiable.
Hmm.
Or, like you said last week, your genes, and it's a terrible phrase, but it really makes sense. The genes load the gun, but the gun could sit there its whole life and never do any harm.
Hmm.
But our lifestyle, environment, experiences we have throughout our life is what does or doesn't pull the trigger for so many of the genes
Hmm.
that dictate disease or well-being or lifestyle or longevity, health span.
Yeah. That and it can be so empowering
Mm.
because I'm just remembering and this is once upon a time where I used to live. I had a neighbor who really did not understand this concept, and
Mm.
so lived kind of in not in fear of her, just kind of uh, with a fatality mindset. She had a grandmother with breast cancer. Her mom had breast cancer. Maybe another one of her relatives had breast cancer. She was bound and determined that she was going to get breast cancer. I
Mhm.
mean, that was going to be her story. And she succumbed to it. She gave into it. She just,
Yeah.
I don't know, embraced it. And so then, because she knew she was, I mean, going to get, then she decided nothing else mattered. She ate what she wanted. She
Yeah.
smoked. I mean, and she lived a lifestyle, probably, knowing what we know about epigenetics, probably which made that likely to happen rather
Right.
than deciding, oh, well, maybe I'm not bound to get cancer
Right.
and I can live a life to prevent those genes from turning on.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Right. I like the word that you use, empowering. It is really empowering. This idea of epigenetics means that we have more control, we have more say over what does and doesn't happen to our bodies.
Hmm.
And even if a gene expresses itself in the form of some sort of cancer or disease, when we live a healthy lifestyle, we better manage it. We can likely limit its ability to progress, and certainly increase our quality of life while we're working through something like this. That those
That's
lifestyle
exactly. Yeah.
habits. Yeah.
Beautiful. Those are all three. Exactly. Exactly. And I think I like the way he finished up um, he wrapped
Mhm.
this up with a statement. I love this. He says, "You obviously can't change your family history. However, you can change your family future
Yeah.
by making better choices today." So
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
so hope giving.
It is hope giving, and it really does speak also to the generational lifestyle that's passed
Mhm.
on. So your
Yeah.
genes were passed on to your offspring, but your culture and the way that your lifestyle,
Mhm.
you will pass that on to your offspring. So
Yeah.
when you hear stories of mom was obese, dad was obese, grandma, oftentimes it's not the genetics, it was lifestyle. It was
Mhm.
cultural behaviors passed on. And so this empowers us to say we can make a change there, not just genetically, but teaching the next
Mhm.
generations how. So what would you say are these epigenetic things? If someone's saying, okay, well, what do you mean then? What do I do? What do I do to impact my epigenetics positively?
Right. Well, I think the biggest influence on our genes is the food that we eat.
It is.
It's the
Nutrition's
biggest
number
influence.
one. Yeah.
Nutrition. Yeah.
Yeah, it's absolutely number one. And then, of course, there's things like exercise, movement,
Hmm.
quality of relationships, your
Hmm.
environment, the home that you live in or the city that you live in. These all impact, our well-being, but we have the most power with nutrition.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Good. All right. Love it. Love it. Love it.
The next part, he talks about measuring your movement. So
Mm.
when we measure how much we move, and he's specifically talking about steps, it actually helps you move more. Have you found that to be true?
Yes. And whenever I measure anything, I think then I'm a little more focused on it,
Mhm.
more aware of
Mhm.
what helps me to move more, or maybe doesn't help me. Um, and I'm a little more goal oriented. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I track something. Mhm.
I find that when I track my steps or when I'm just paying attention to it, I can, before I look at my watch, I'll say, okay, how do I think I've done today? And I might say, oh, I think I've moved pretty good. I probably have a lot of steps. I can't tell you how often I look at my watch and I'm like, I only have 3,000 steps. What? And then I'm like, oh, Rachel, you got it. So it helps me tell the truth, right?
Right.
My brain can say, oh yeah, you've moved, you're fine. Nope. This helps me tell the truth. So
Yeah.
you can wear a pedometer, you can wear your phone, you can wear a watch, there's lots of ways to track your steps.
Yeah, I really like that. It helps me tell the truth. That is so true, because so often we overestimate what we've done or underestimate what we've eaten,
Absolutely.
and tracking it does kind of keep us honest.
It tells the
So
truth.
now I
Yeah.
will say, you got to buy a pretty good pedometer for it to get every step, because those rinky dink $10 pedometers, it's going to frustrate you, because you're going to look down and see 100 steps when you've done 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good point.
So,
Okay.
so you want, if you're going to use a tool, this is my husband speaking through me, you got to buy a good tool. Doesn't mean you have to buy the top of the line, the best one ever, but you want to invest in something, in a little cheap little pedometer. I mean, there are good ones out there, but then there aren't ones. But your phone has an app. Use it, right?
Use it. Now, the only point about that is you've got to bring it with you everywhere you go.
Right. That's true.
When you get up to go to the bathroom, when you get up to go to the car, make sure if that's the way you're tracking, just make sure that you have a way to carry it with you at all times, so that you really do yourself. You're really getting the truth of what's going on. Yeah.
Good point. Yeah. And Mother's Day was Sunday, wasn't it? And guess what my kids got me for Mother's Day?
What?
What's coming in the mail today? An Apple Watch.
Ooh, fantastic. Yeah. So you're not only going to be tracking your steps, but also how many times you get up and move, just
right.
Sedentary. How many times you stand. Oh, there's so much to track with your Apple Watch.
Yeah. And that brings me to another point. Sometimes we have this newness kind of, everything is new and fresh and exciting, and that lasts different periods of time for different people, right?
Yes. Right. So to spice it up, you might do a challenge with a friend or a family member to kind of get you back in it, or join a group that's doing some sort of, something to change it up.
Right. Yeah. Right. Good. Now, Rachel, what was this point about 10,000?
Yeah. So, we've heard a lot of differing ideas about 10,000. You should walk 10,000 steps. And then we found out that was some arbitrary number that came out of Japan or somewhere that wasn't really linked to any true science or research. But it does sound like when we get fewer than 10,000 steps, they do see some differences there. So he says, if you walk fewer than 5,500 steps, you're considered sedentary.
Oh.
And
so they have actually defined that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he's saying. That, in comparison, he says the average Australian takes 9,600 steps per day, nearly 2 times the number of Americans. And, he says, the rate of obesity in the US is, well, he says 34%, but this was written in 2014.
Right.
It's up 40+%.
Oh, yeah.
Now, and Australia is more like 16%. They get more steps. So he really does encourage us to target 10,000. And I was curious about this, and I found an article in a magazine I was reading. I think it was the Outside Magazine, and this is a new article, and it says it gives me the number of 44%, and it says that's how much less likely women who take 10,700 steps per day were to develop type 2 diabetes as compared to those who took only 6,000. So as a woman, you're 44% less likely to develop type 2 diabetes if you get 10,000 as compared to 6,000. So that can really kind of help us understand
Yeah. Now for you, what does 10,000 steps look like, practically speaking?
Every mile that I walk is about 2,000 steps.
Hmm.
Maybe,
And
maybe.
that might depend on how big, long, you know.
Yes. Yeah. So if I go for a walk in the morning, my 30-minute walk is about 2 miles or so. Then I know I'm right
That's a
there.
fast walk, Rachel.
I'm a fast walker. I'm a fast walker. That's about 4,000 steps during my day. If I'm just kind of up and doing my normal, stuff, I'm only going to get about 3,000. I really have to mindfully get at least one, if not two, purposeful walks. Now, if I go grocery shopping or I'm at the mall or I am out and about,
Mhm.
those steps really add up much quicker that way. I think you'd be surprised if you're in the grocery store for an hour walking around and then to and from your car, and then you're getting the groceries out of your car, and then you're putting your groceries away. You're going to track those up pretty quick.
Mhm. Okay, very good, very good. Those are some, yeah, because I do similar time in the morning of a walk run thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it may not be exactly 2 miles, almost,
Yeah.
but yeah. So it's interesting because I've never and it's gone back and forth from the treadmill to outside depending on the weather.
Right.
And but I've never tracked the number of steps because I don't like to carry my phone with me, or so it'll be interesting to
Ah.
have my watch. And yeah, so maybe that's something we can follow up, circle back to
Mhm.
at another time and see how I'm doing there.
It would be great. And I think it's really helpful to mention here that it's the 10,000 steps per day. We really want to get those throughout the day,
Hmm.
because that means we're breaking up those times of sedentariness, right? Where we're
Right,
just sitting.
right.
So you don't really want to go, okay, well, maybe I'll go for a walk for an hour and a half in the morning and get all my steps. Not a bad idea, but not the best use of those 10,000 steps. If you can
Right,
push them throughout the day, then you're having to get up. You're kind of finding excuses to get up and move. And that's way more beneficial than just pounding it all out at one
right.
exercise.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to move throughout our day. The
Right.
body was made to move. We've got joints, they're made to move.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and when we get up, we change the enzymes and the hormones in our body, which stabilizes blood sugar much better.
Yeah.
Actually, it gives me energy.
Mhm.
Sitting zaps my energy.
Yes.
It helps my brain work too. If I'm going through the day and I'm taking a little um, fresh air walk break,
Right.
um, I come back,
Mhm.
I'm much more focused than
Yeah.
if I just try to go on and on and on doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So there's so much benefit to moving throughout your day. And then people sleep better at night.
Yes.
And then, which
The
is
next day
helpful.
is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And I love that you're pointing out there that walking or moving isn't just, oh, it's a good idea if I walk, I feel better. There's actual chemical things happening in your body when you move
Mm-hmm.
that result in better mood, less depression, less anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
better thought and cognition, clearer mindset. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
literally happening at a very chemical level. We know
Right.
this. This
Yeah.
is research. So we
Yeah.
know that
Right.
it's real. It's true. It's not just kind of like, oh, I feel better if I walk. No, I
Right.
really do.
Yeah. All
Yeah.
right. This has been a great discussion. I'm glad we did not skip this chapter because it's so
It's a good one.
important. So,
Yes.
so Rachel, then, do you know what you're having for dinner tonight?
No, actually, I don't. My husband has a late baseball game tonight, so I won't really probably see him until tomorrow. So I'm kind of on my own, which is
Mm-hmm.
not fun because then I kind of eat more like smorgasbord type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have a leftover salad I made yesterday. I posted on my Facebook group. If anybody wants
Ooh,
to see it,
take
it's
a peek. Mm-hmm.
Um, well, I'll just tell you what I'm going to eat for leftovers for dinner from what I made yesterday. It was a salad with spinach and butter greens, but then I tossed it with some sautéed tempeh. Um, I sliced some beets, some yellow beets, very thinly,
Ooh,
air
yellow
fried.
beets.
Oh, it was so good on top of the salad. I cannot tell you how amazing that was. And then the dressing was an orange juice and vinegar with some toasted almonds ground up and blended. That was the dressing.
Mm.
And it had pear, a fresh slice of pear on there, some red onion, some tomato. It was just all the flavors kind of just, when you get it right and the salad is like,
Mm.
pow, all the flavors are coming together.
That sounds great. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also have leftovers from actually our trip. And we took food with us. We brought food back. But yeah, so I'll be picking through those. But I have a salad that is, needs to be eaten.
Uh-huh.
And so I need to find a way to freshen that up a little bit. And so I'm thinking about that sesame tahini kind of dressing would
Yes.
probably help me want to eat that salad.
Right. Right. Yeah, I
Right.
love the idea of just, how can I freshen this up, give it a little bit of a pizzazz that makes it feel new, and
Yeah.
I'm interested in eating it again.
Right. And I have
Yeah.
to find some protein to put on there. I haven't figured that out yet.
Ah,
So
yeah. Find something to
thinking
grab it.
about that.
I had a really quick on the topic of food and the taste of it. My son and I made these healthy smoothies this morning,
Mhm.
and there's all this research about blueberries now, and when you grind them, when you blend them, it releases the more antioxidants in the seeds than what we're able to get when we eat them, and
Ooh.
therefore it slows blood sugar even more. So a blended blueberry is better than it. I don't know. This is some new
Yeah.
read. I'm like, oh, this
Huh.
changes smoothies now. So we had this big, beautiful smoothie this morning, and I just kept tossing everything in it. I'm like, oh, some of this and all these healthy spices and things, and he's like, Mom, this isn't, what did you do to it? And, he'll just do like blueberries and, yogurt and make it really sweet. And this wasn't as sweet. I said, Simon, sometimes we eat things because they're good for us, not because they taste good. And he's like, yeah, thanks for that. So it was a reminder like, okay, I'm going to kind of chug this down. Sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss. And this smoothie was a miss.
Thank you for saying that, Rachel, because we, and that's okay. We're experimenting. We're learning. Yeah.
And I know everything in it was good and good for me. And I wasn't about to throw it away. And, it wasn't making me gag or anything, but it just didn't taste great. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. You had a win. You had something you're going to replicate, with your yellow beets. You're going to do that again.
Oh, yeah.
This one, yeah. So you're giving yourself that grace and that freedom to experiment.
Yeah.
And then I guess, to figure out that didn't work. So back to the drawing board. Yeah, that's so important. And it's information. You're not beating yourself up because it didn't taste great. Yeah.
No. And I'm proud of myself that I can drink it anyway. I can do hard things.
Right.
I'm not a precious snowflake. I can eat a smoothie that doesn't taste great. I can do that. It's like, and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's super. Well, thanks so much, Rachel. This has been a good discussion. And everybody, I hope you're going to get outside and enjoy this gorgeous day. I don't think it gets better than this. This is heaven.
This is an Oregon perfect day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Everybody.
We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.